Welcome back to the Benchwarmers. This is the eighth installment of our 22 in 22 series. At the 15th spot, we have the Portland Trailblazers. So after a very difficult 5 and 12 start to the season, they started performing pretty well actually, going 9 and 4 through the next 13 games. But towards the end of the calendar year, their form began to decline again as they only won 5 of their next 16 games. They finished with an average 10 wins from their last 20 games, leaving them ninth in the Western Conference with a 29 and 37 record. Their three star players this year have been point guard Damian Lillard, who has averaged a whopping 29 points per game with 4 rebounds and 8 assists, shooting guard CJ McCollum, who is averaging 23 points with 4 rebounds and 4 assists, and center Hassan Whiteside, who averages 16 points and 14 rebounds, which is actually the highest of any player in the bubble. Their starting forwards, Carmelo Anthony and Trevor Ariza, have averaged at least 11 points and 5 rebounds each. However, Trevor Ariza is choosing to sit out the bubble due to a custody case over his son, which only allows him to spend 1 month with him, which he's choosing to do over playing basketball. On the other hand, center Yusuf Nurkic, who averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists last year, but has not played at all this year because he broke his leg, is set to return for the bubble, which should definitely help the Trailblazers on their road to the playoffs. To make the playoffs, they would have to finish the 8 games with a better record than the Pelicans and win a play-in tournament against the Grizzlies. They have a difficult schedule, but I can see this very strong side, in my opinion, winning 4 games or more. All right, so now moving on to the discussion portion of this video, where we talk about our rankings. So actually, while we overall have them ranked 15th, I have them at 14 above the Pelicans. Although this was a difficult decision for me, as they're pretty much in identical situations, very similar records, and need to do the exact same thing to make the playoffs, I chose the Blazers just because I think they are a more playoff-ready team. Zion, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball have never been to a playoffs or this kind of high-pressure situation, whereas CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, and Hassan Whiteside are all very experienced when it comes to these kinds of situations, with the first two making the conference finals last year. So I think that just because they're a significantly more playoff experienced team, they'll perform better in the bubble. That's why I have them at 14 above the Pelicans.
As for my ranking, I actually had the Blazers one lower, and this is because I had the Pelicans one higher. And I think we have a disagreement here. You think that the Blazers are going to do better than the Pelicans. I think that the Pelicans are going to do better. And my reasoning for this is I do agree the Blazers are a very solid team and with some good amount of experience. But the Pelicans, on the other hand, they were one of the worst teams in the NBA before the return of Zion Williamson. But when Zion returned, the Pelicans suddenly went on a huge winning streak, or at least a huge stretch of getting a lot of wins. And they were able to climb up to a decent spot in the Western Conference, allowing them to have a chance in the play-in tournament, and especially with Zion Williamson bulking up. I think that the Pelicans are going to be even better as a team, and during this quarantine time, I think that the players on the Pelicans have had more time to work together and regroup and practice together even more. And I think the Pelicans are a very solid team that shouldn't go under the radar, and they are most likely going to do very well in the play-in tournament.
Okay, I have the Blazers at 16, and this is the first one where all three of us have different rankings for a particular team. So I have them below the Grizzlies and below the Pelicans for a couple of reasons. First is many people say that, oh, this Portland team is the exact same team which went to the Western Conference Finals a year ago. But here's one thing. Let me name to you a few players who are missing. Although they may not be stars, there are still important pieces. How about Al-Farouq Aminu, Kent Bazemore, Seth Curry, Mo Harkless, and Rodney Hood to an extent. Also, players like Enes Kanter and Myers Leonard were on this team, which was there last year. So I feel like they had some depth last year, which they don't have now, especially in the wing forward region. And a lot of their defense this year has been pretty much harmed by that. They replaced players like not Trevor. They replaced players like Alfredo Camino and Mo Harkless with Carmelo Anthony, who's notably terrible at defense. And also their defense in the inside comes from Hassan Whiteside, who is known to get frustrated over very like little petty things. And if he gets benched in favor of Yusuf Nurkic, who is rightfully the better player, he will be a baby about it, and he won't play as hard. And I could see it negatively impacting the Blazers' shot. Another thing is if you look at their schedule, I really see only 2 games which the Blazers may have a higher than 50% chance of winning. One, which they have a higher 50% chance. 2, they may have around a 50% chance of winning. So they probably will beat the Nets, and there's a chance that they beat the Grizzlies. But the other games are against the Celtics, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the 76ers, and the Mavericks. Those are all sub 50% chances of winning. And I really don't see the Blazers making it to the 4 games necessary to have the play-in tournament or be better than the Pelicans even for the 9th seed.
Right, a lot of disagreement there in that discussion. Let us know where you think the Blazers will end up. It's pretty much implied who we think will be next on the list, but leave your predictions in the comments anyway. This is the Benchwarmers signing off. See ya.